the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. We are live downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. This place is already popping. Going to be a great spot tonight to watch the game. The Orange Bowl, Notre Dame and Penn State. We've had so much on this game already today. If you missed the last hour, that would be the 5 p.m. Eastern hour, 2 o'clock Pacific time. We had on both Paul Stone and Brad Powers. You can go back and get it, listen or watch on the brand new VSiN Watch app on your iPhone or Android. They were great. Coming up at the bottom of this hour, Alex White is going to join the program. She finished second place overall behind Chuck, the Iceman Edel, who's going to be on he makes his long-awaited return tomorrow on the program. He took it down. Alex White finished second. She's on in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Strong show today.
Back. Chuck's ridiculous. What do you go, like 74 and 32 or something?
Phenomenal.
5-2, 6-1, 5-2, 6-1, and a big totals player. So
let me give you this. Obviously, a ton on the NFL tomorrow. Bill Barnwell, ESPN, wrote, this thing must have been 50,000 words today, his preview of the wild card round. And in the AFC, he's got chalk prevailing and winning those games. The first game that he has as the matchup, the Sunday 4:30 p.m. Eastern game between Green Bay and Philadelphia, it completely flips, and he goes Green Bay winning the game 19-17. It's an awesome write-up. I will give you a couple of tidbits to consider here. A.J. Brown, the first time they played back in Brazil, early September. My God, can we go back to that day? 67-yard touchdown catch. Since then, the Green Bay Packers, I did not realize this, have not allowed a single gain of 40 or more yards since. Not one. Every other team has allowed at least 6. The Eagles have a great defense. They've allowed 7. Only one other defense since 2000 has played the entire season without giving up a 40-yard gain. Philadelphia had 19 plays of 40-plus yards in the regular season, second behind the Ravens, and Saquon Barkley had 59 carries for a loss or no gain. In this story, the write-up is basically telling you how good the Eagles' defense has been, but he goes, people do not want to acknowledge that the Green Bay defensive numbers are right behind Philadelphia's. So he's picking them outright 19-17 in the game.
Yeah.
He also doesn't know, like, how nobody does, right, how healthy both guys are going to be at quarterback.
Well, I like Hurts, though, better than Love. Hurts just had his clock cleaned, and he should be okay. Love, you don't know what the elbow and the terrific breakdown from Sal Pell yesterday also. So he looked sharp. He looked good in practice. Who knows what's going on with Love? And he's got a low prop as well against a nasty Philly defense. But then again, Love had his coming out party last year at this time.
Yeah, I liked Charchian's breakdown of this 90 minutes ago. And remember, my takeaway from that game was in Brazil, oh my God, I love this passing attack from Green Bay. They take shots all the way down the field. Charge said this completely flipped a while back with Green Bay. Not happening. And now Watson's out of the game, which, if you look at Christian Watson's impact this season for Green Bay, he had 29 catches, I believe, on the entire year. Like, what does he truly mean overall to the offense? So
Joe Osborne with an interesting trend. 15-2 ATS run Packers, last 17 when a dog of 3 or more. That's wild. But I love this Philly team. See if they can keep it going and just see what with so many weapons and see if they can get Barkley going on Sunday.
Barnwell has the Buccaneers beating the Commanders 27-24. And then it
should be a close game. Yeah.
I think so. It's a really good game, right?
Yeah, I like Washington, though. I don't see how Tampa's going to slow them down. It's going to be an opposite of what happened in week 1. It was Daniel's first start. It was on the road. He was taking off and running too much. Quinn called him out after the next game. I just think the way Kingsbury's got this offense humming and dialed up and ready to go, that they're not going to be able to be stopped. You couldn't slow down Rattler in a game you had to have.
You can actually trust Daniels, right, to probably not turn it over. I mean, if you had to,
that's right,
pick a guy that's going to actually make some bad throws in this game or lose the ball, it's going to be Baker. And Mayfield, I love the guy.
He might be the guy most likely to implode of all these games, considering he led the league in interceptions and just also turns it over in the red zone.
Yeah. Barnwell, for the record, has Rams over the Vikings 27-17, and I'll save you the remaining games, but in the Super Bowl, he has the Packers making it, actually. He has them beating Detroit in the second round, and then he has KC over Green Bay. That would be something else. I'm looking at Steve Makinen, his traits of recent Super Bowl winning teams. And he does a great job with every single sport, like every single year. He has like 25 qualifiers, right? And he breaks it down for you. And the three teams at the very top, Baltimore, Philadelphia, and Green Bay. I just question also, like Green Bay they don't like spot me their best win of the season. At home to Houston?
Right.
Is that really a great win?
No.
Hard
to get there. Have you changed your mind on a Baltimore game with Flowers out? Does that do anything for you?
The guy had an awesome season.
Yeah?
I thought he was actually going to miss, by the way.
Yeah.
It was not looking good, and people were speculating they probably wasn't going to be a go. I mean, he's a phenomenal weapon, but here's the thing with Baltimore. They got an endless supply of weapons there.
Mm-hmm.
So this should be a heavy Derrick Henry game. You can play Andrews and Likely all you want. Bateman's fine. They got a ton of guys there for Lamar's legs can get it done. And by the way, the Ravens defense might be getting better at exactly the right time this year.
Yeah, that's interesting. Barnwell thought that. But this is the 2 weeks here where I don't want to see upsets. I want chalk to prevail and the best to move forward in the NFL playoffs. And as we talked about earlier in the week, it's been the year of the favorite. Dogs have been atrocious. Favorites winning all these games. And we haven't had chaos in a while. Your Giants coming out of nowhere, a 5 seed, a 4 seed. Arizona Cardinals, stuff, Carolina Panthers, stuff like that. So,
well, I think
I don't want to see upsets.
No, I would say this. If we do have a team in the NFC that goes on a run, I think all of these teams are pretty legit. They have some weaknesses. The Tampa Bay defense also is not, I mean, they're just not a good unit. I could probably say the same thing about the Commanders as well. But with that coaching staff and the way Daniels has operated pretty much the entire year.
I'd still be surprised if they beat Detroit. And I'd still be surprised, even though they're a good team, I'd still be surprised if the Chargers went into Kansas City and beat them. If that's the matchup.
It'd be a hell of a game. I think that would be.
But don't do it to me now. Don't go 15-2 and then,
lose to the Chargers,
or someone just goes one and done, right?
And then we
we used to have that. When we started on this network, I did it the first 3 years. The second round stink bombs. It was clockwork.
Yeah.
Someone was back when we had 2 buys. Someone would lose off the bye with at least a 13-3 record. And in a good-sized favorite, and come out with a bleep show.
So you're saying that you don't want Chargers at Ravens, AFC title game, or Chargers at Bills?
That's not that bad. I'll
go one more. But what if the Texans shock the world? You want to throw open your mouth?
Bad. Yeah, that'd be too bad. We just did this for 4 months, and Houston never looked the part. But I just don't want to see a 15-2 team not being able to get it done.
What's the worst possible Super Bowl matchup in your opinion?
Pittsburgh against somebody. Props are terrible if they're in. Terrible. Pittsburgh's involved. Probably Houston too, right?
Well, yeah, for
that
sure.
Hurts for props as well.
I would take Denver over both those teams.
Yeah.
Right? You can get a little bit of entertainment value out of that team for sure.
Yeah. Well,
find some good stuff there.
Houston.
Well, you got to pick a team for sure.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like the NFC, I'm good at any of these teams actually. The Rams made it. Okay. The way that those rookies and the young players have stepped up since that Bills game on defense, they've been great. Puka Nacua is awesome. I don't know. Either way.
They're too popular.
The Rams are too popular?
Very popular pick.
Yeah.
To win the game and do damage.
Well, Bills are in teaser range now.
Mm-hmm.
They're down to 8.5 at some big-time books. So if you want to get down to 2.5 on that game, you can find other teaser options this weekend to dance with. The one that you would make sense to put it with would be the Rams up to 7.5, which you can do at the same book. Or if you want to do... Do you want to do Texans plus 8.5 on a teaser?
No.
Neither do I. That could easily be a 10-point game.
Mm-hmm. Stroud could make mistakes.
Sure he can.
But to, Paul's point about the Denver defense, that was great. We know Tampa's defense has issues. I'm a little concerned about the Charger defense, too. Couldn't stop Mayfield, give up a 40-burger. Couldn't stop Burrow. Couldn't stop the Raiders last week. They got to do a better job.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, maybe I'm not thinking that's a low-scoring game to start Saturday.
Well, you're going to be. I mean, if the Chargers would win like a 28-27 game, how concerned are you going to be going into Kansas City then?
Yeah.
Right? If they allow Stroud and the offense to actually get it going and hum a little bit, and it's competitive the whole time and they look crisp on offense, something that I haven't said all year long, I don't think, about the Texans, then, issues with Andy by the way, coming off the bye week.
Did we see the real Sam Darnold, or was it a fluke? Couldn't make throws in the red zone.
I don't know if I can comment on that. Yeah. Because did we not say, like, every week in the regular season, when's it coming?
How's he doing this, right?
When's it coming? It's going to show its head, and it did big time. So if I say it was a total fluke and he comes out and does it one more time, I'm an idiot.
Well, I think he's going to have a clean game, though. And I think he's going to be comfortable in the pocket and have time to throw. And I think he can pick apart this Rams defense. And it won't be like he saw against Glenn and what Detroit dialed up. But he missed plenty of throws. I mean, it's not like they didn't have chances. They were living in the red zone.
You better hope that the offensive line can protect those guys up front.
Yeah.
If they can, then there's no reason why he can't have a big game. But if he's scrambling for his life, I don't like his chances. So that might be the biggest recipe for success for the Rams in that entire game. Plus, again, going back to our conversation with Charch at 1:30 Pacific today, great breakdown on the Vikings' run defense. Mm-hmm. It's completely flipped last month or so. He likes Kyren Williams to have a big game coming up on Monday, assuming that's when it gets played. Great game last night in the NBA. We will discuss numbers on the betting board for tonight and takeaways from that contest next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We are looking for a grand total of no touchdowns to be scored in the first half tonight. Can't find it. If you guys happen to see it on any sportsbook app out there, you can email the show, ftm@vsin.com. We're on X at VSiN Live and Mitch Moss Radio at Pauly Howard. No touchdowns specifically in the first half. Almost cashed Notre Dame against Georgia until that idiotic decision-making there by Kirby Smart.
That's a good point from Brad Powers about just how bad and bizarre the Franklin press conference was.
Yeah.
Talking down to the guy and, ooh.
I know.
I question why he gave him bulletin board material, but then it's to take it to the next level about how you're talking to him like he's a child. Maybe that backfires.
Some numbers from last night's tremendous Oklahoma City and Cleveland Cavalier basketball game. 30 lead changes, 8 ties. The largest lead was 9 points. Cleveland won again. That's now 11 straight. They play again a week from today, I believe, is when they're going to meet. And 129-122 was the final score. The execution, the level of basketball that we got in that game was as good as you're going to find. Both those teams are absolutely loaded. And just the extra passing, getting the extra man, getting that open man, the shot from making that one extra pass was so big. And to find, again, just like under the radar guys like Wade and Strus, who were just, if you could give them 1 second, the ball was going in last night. And it did. And clearly, on the flip side, in the loss, my takeaway was, okay, you gave up 129. You were also without Alex Caruso and Chet Holmgren. Like, this ceiling for the Thunder team is just so high. And there's no shame in losing to a team that's, 32-4 now on the season.
Right. But they also looked the part. And to win that game when your best player is 3 of 11, how big of the acquisition of bringing in Atkinson as your new head coach? Just you see what the ball movement, the extra pass, how Mobley has developed. Allen had a big game. How Garland has improved to what Strus gives you on the outside. So many options, so many weapons. And to do that against the number one defense when your best player has an off night and in the torture chamber as well, it's you had to adjust the future odds. They're not to be trifled with. They already went to Boston, hung, could have won the game, beat Boston at home, obliterated all those teams on the West Coast road trip. They've passed every test. Eye test, they are the real deal. And 32-4, also coaching 28-1 when they lead at halftime. So it's going to be great when they meet again in a week. But this team now minus 220 at DraftKings to get the 1 seed. And last check, they were like $1.80 to have the best record at the All-Star break. But it's going to be fun come playoff time. And I certainly trust this team, and they have a lot of firepower, and they needed a coach like Atkinson to get it out of these players.
How do you think a Cavaliers-Knicks 7-game series would go?
I would say a week ago could be all-time good. But I'm a little concerned now the last week of what they've looked like. I don't know what's going on here. You couldn't score. Cat was out, but you couldn't score.
Weird.
Against Orlando, even though they have their number 2 defense. There was a horrific loss against the Bulls where they blew a big lead and got run off. That was when they retired Rose's jersey, I think. They got run out in the third quarter.
I bet them at plus 350 to win that division when they were peaking, and because of some of the games they had on the upcoming schedule.
Boston's 1-10 now.
Yeah.
I know.
And for the Knicks to lose those 2 games, I'm like, I didn't see that coming. Well, okay.
Not for nothing. They struggled last night with the Raptors.
But I will say, I want that one. Give us that series in the semis of the Eastern Conference playoffs, because what the totals are going to be, 240?
Oh, yeah.
They'll have to be.
Yeah.
With that Knicks offense, assuming full health, which I guess you probably can't do. But if they are, and the Cavaliers in this offense and the way that they shoot the ball, number 1 team from downtown in the entire NBA, that would be phenomenal to watch. And hopefully to bet on, because I'm thinking every score is going to be like 135, 125.
Yep. We disagree on this one. I like the Heat tonight, laying 5.5 at Utah. They just got embarrassed on their home floor against a bad Jazz team, although the Jazz are scoring a ton of points.
Yes, they are.
They've been involved in a lot of high-scoring games. But that was, remember when the Butler news was announced with the suspension, and they handed him like a contract, a printout of all the ways contract detrimental to the team. They went out and lost by 36 points and gave up $136. So I think they'll respond here with an excellent coach, and also how they bounce back. Should have beat Sacramento on the road. Came back on a tough spot back-to-back. Took out Golden State, no problem. I think they're going to give the Jazz a big dose of revenge here. Trying
to get an update now because the Warriors are favored in this game by 3 tonight, the way it looks the Pistons. It flipped. And the reason why is because, getting the update now.
All 3 guys are in?
Yeah, it appears that way because, Wiggins is out. He's not playing. But I want to make sure I have this correct here in my notes. Curry, Schroeder, and Draymond were questionable. And the Pistons were favored. Curry will play tonight. Draymond will play tonight. And, Schroeder's also going to play. So that has flipped a good 6 points now tonight.
Well, they've been bad.
Yeah, they've been terrible.
Yep. And the great story here with the Pistons playing 500 ball. They're a fun team to watch, even with the injury to Ivy.
Cade is the real deal.
Yeah, could be a playoff team. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. And I'll do this in pocket. So it's always, I don't like the award and how they've.
Okay.
Cade Cunningham is the favorite to win Most Improved. He's having a good year. But again, max contract, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So they brought this up on the Brian Windhorst podcast, and all the guys scoffed at it. Like, get out of here. That can't be. That's crazy.
They brought up Cunningham?
Yeah.
And they said he can't be.
They gave him to get the hell out of here. Right?
Really?
It's got to be Powell or Mobley. And they all landed on it. This award is specifically designed for a guy like Powell for what he's done. He's 10-1 right now.
Okay.
Mobley was a bigger price, but he's been great. He's down to +7. I had to bet both of them.
You bet both guys?
Yeah, based on that podcast, and then what the year these guys are having. I mean, I think this is exactly right. And I still got a plan. Now, Wembanyama, we got 70-1. He's down to 10 now in some spots. He had a stinker last night. I don't know what that was.
Right.
But if you take that big step, John Morant winning was absurd.
Terrible.
I didn't like, Maxey winning it either. You're already very good players. But if you're on like a max contract, I expect you to go out and deliver and perform and put up big numbers. If Mobley's taken that next step to be a consistent scorer and knocking down shots, but it's perfect there for Powell. A journeyman, a guy who's been in the league for a long time, a big reason why they're having such a good season, what he's doing, leading them without Kawhi, and that, okay, bye-bye, we don't need Paul George. And, they were in first place until this 2-game losing streak. I totally agree with them. This market is asinine.
I'll give you another
with the
guy.
Prices.
The number 2 player behind the Cunningham on the board right now is Tyler Hero at +350. He's been in the league he won 6th Man of the Year already. Guys had a really, really solid career. You're going to give him Most Improved? Like, why would that make any sense? But again, trying to figure out how they're going to vote on this award is almost impossible. The problem is you have other, like Jalen Johnson for the Hawks and another guy. Like, how is Sengun 150 to 1? I bet him early on in the season. The guy is incredible for the Rockets.
Yeah. To me, it still come down to Wembanyama and why 70 to 1 was outrageous a couple weeks ago. Because he was averaging 28, 17, and 5 going into last night's game.
They have to
it was a 5-game stretch or whatever it was.
Right.
But
and why would they not give second-year players any consideration? That's been a thing forever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'll have a couple of other plays in pocket as well. I'll give you one right now. There's no Jalen Suggs, very good defender for the Magic, without a timetable to return.
How can this keep happening?
This total keeps dropping, by the way. It's now below 200. Wolves are playing at the Magic. Anthony Edwards, 25 and 11 over his prop for threes when it's 3.5, which is what it is tonight. Attempted threes per game in January, 12 on average so far. That number dropped to 7.9 in December. But his last 3 games, Anthony Edwards is 7 of 11, 6 of 13, and 10 of 15 from three-point land. Early on in the season, when books were slow to adjust to him, it was 3.5. Over was plus money, and he kept shooting 10, 12, 13, 14 threes a game. Then that changed, and the number came down, and he was going under a little bit. Well, now the attempts are back at that meant 12 per game, last 3 overall. I gotta. He's going to keep chucking, so I got to bet it's minus 104 when I bet it this morning.
All right. Go get him. More action than a Rambo movie coming up within pocket. Ready to take your tailgate to the next level? We had it on the air the other day. It's dynamite. Sewell's Barbecue, born from a backyard cookout in a mason jar of unforgettable flavor. Sewell's become a Southern favorite, delighting taste buds from Georgia to the Carolinas, smoky ribs and wings to the perfect backyard burger. Sewell's turns every bite into a flavor-packed experience. Order now. Sewell'sBarbecueSauce.com. Sewell'sBarbecueSauce.com. Southern hospitality never tasted so good. Flavor this good. Just a click away. Go get it.
I'm going to retweet something from our buddy Weston. Guy in the cornfields on X. I'm at Mitch Moss Radio. He sent out a tweet showing the stadium, SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. And the red marks on the screen in the seats are the ones that are up for resale right now. The entire stadium's trying to sell their tickets to the game.
Well, the air quality is all-time bad.
You got to move. Then you got to move the game.
Yeah, this is horrible by Goodell. Six fires.
Yeah. Alex White, second in the Circa Friday Football Invitational. Her best bets for tonight and this weekend next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Notre Dame, Penn State kicking off tonight in the Orange Bowl. And, well, you know what? Penn State now favored at more than a couple of books. They are favored at FanDuel. They're favored at DraftKings. They're favored at BetMGM. It's a pick 'em at Caesars. They're favored at a bunch of spots offshore the way it looks as well. And to discuss it with a couple of best bets, Alex White joins the program now. She does Sports by the Book over at the South Point, and she's also the daughter of a professional sports bettor, Kenny White, the name that I'm sure that you have known for many, many years. And she finished in second place at the Circa Friday Football Invitational right here on VSiN with a stellar year herself. Alex, thanks for the time today. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Mitch. How are you and Pauly?
Doing really well. When do I not intro you again as the daughter of a pro sports bettor and just call you a professional sports bettor?
Hey, I don't know. I don't know that answer, but hopefully soon enough, right? I'm pretty proud of that one, that Circa Invitational, and you're not always that proud of second, but that one feels good. So maybe I'm on my way.
I would say so. You were red hot down the stretch, well, pretty much the entire year, but awesome way to close out the season. Let's carry it over to tonight and this weekend here. Do you have a best bet now? These numbers have been changing a little bit today with the total as well. Do you have a best bet right now between Notre Dame and Penn State?
What's the total?
I see as high as 46 right now.
I know it's going the opposite way. I love this under. I actually made this game 40, and I see strength on strength here where Notre Dame and Riley Leonard, he's a dual threat guy. Penn State's really good against the run, and then vice versa. we've got Drew Aller, who's a pocket passer, and Notre Dame's defense is stellar against the pass. So I really think this is going to be a rock fight here. So I like that under, and I took under 45.5, so now everybody's getting an even better number there.
Any opinion on the side?
You know, I don't really like my Notre Dame number. I had them 2.5, and I kind of stayed away from that. And the more I dove into this, I was leaning to Penn State here. And I just think they've been tested, played a tough schedule in the Big Ten. And I know Notre Dame had a couple, you know, the first game of the year, Texas A&M, and you could say Georgia last week. But really, 16 points offensively, if it weren't for their special teams putting up 7, I don't know how that game would have gone. And a turnover, short field for them offensively. So I worry about them there. I think Penn State has more ways to win. So leaning to Penn State in that one.
Well, okay, what do your numbers say on Texas and Ohio State based on how great Ohio State has looked in the playoff, outscored Oregon and Tennessee by 45 points and outgained them by 440 yards? But then we go back to the Michigan game and how they struggled at times in the regular season. What do your numbers call for with Ohio State, Texas?
See, and this one's a little alarming too, Pauly, because I made Ohio State 3.5. So seeing that 6, you'd think I'd automatically want to take the points there. But first thing I ever learned from my dad and my grandfather is not to overreact, right? So the last couple of weeks I adjusted just like I did throughout the regular season. And there I am at 3.5. I do still believe in Texas's defense, though, and I know that they gave up some points to Arizona State and they took them to overtime, but I still think that's a really good defense that can hang around in that one. But I'm not betting the side. I'm very impressed with what I saw from Ohio State, and I also, throughout the year, I still had Ohio State above Oregon after they lost to Oregon. They were still really high, 1 and 2, until they lost to Michigan. And so what their real number is, I think it would be even higher.
Okay. And you're leaning the under on that game as well?
I am leaning the under on that game as well. And like I said about Texas, I mean, 4th in points allowed this year, and people say they didn't have the toughest SEC. They still played a pretty good SEC schedule, 3rd in total yards allowed. And then Ohio State's just been awesome, especially in the playoffs, number 1 in the country, total yards allowed and points allowed. So leaning to the under there in that one. I think Texas will be able to slow down that offense just a little bit.
So we've been kicking around like money line parlays this weekend, including the wild card round of the NFL playoffs, like which team is going to lose. Are you confident enough to put in like a money line bet or money line parlay in the NFL this weekend?
So I'm going up against 2 teams that are kind of limping into the playoffs here, right? And that's the Houston Texans and the Green Bay Packers. I like the other side there. Very confident in the Chargers. I mean, this defense has been awesome all year long, number 1 in points allowed. Jim Harbaugh has been playing with so much confidence. So I am confident, even with them on the road, I think they get that win. Not that confident to lay the 2.5 or 3. It could be a field goal game. On the other side, the Eagles, good news with Jalen Hurts. Plus, they proved that they could still win without him. Didn't really matter who was at quarterback, but of course, much better with him, Saquon Barkley. So I like the Eagles to get that win too. Tie those 2 up, money line. I got like plus 140 there for both of those just to win outright.
That's good. I'm intrigued. And then how are you attacking the Washington-Tampa Bay game, which I think a lot of these games are going to be entertaining. This might be the most entertaining of all of them.
I agree. 2 really good offenses here. Washington finished 4th in points per game, and then Washington finished 5th in points per game, and Tampa Bay finished 4th. Baker Mayfield continues to impress us here as a Buccaneer. So I was leaning to laying the points with Tampa Bay, the experience. We saw them last year go in the playoffs and upset Philadelphia. But then diving deeper into it, both of these defenses can give up a ton of points as well. So even at it's the highest total on the board this weekend, I went over 49.5. I'm still okay at 50 going over that one.
All right. Do you like anything? I'm going to put you on the spot right now. Do you like anything in college basketball tonight?
I like something in hockey.
Okay, that works.
I thought so. I don't think any Columbus Blue Jacket game should be 6. I made this game 7 here between the Kraken and the Blue Jackets, so I like over 6 a lot in that one. They give up some goals. They're 31st in goals allowed, 3.61, but they can score. They're 5th right now, averaging 3.37 per game. So I like that over a lot. And I like the Minnesota Wild getting a nice plus price here tonight. And I know The Avs have been much better as of late in their goalie changes, and having Mackenzie Blackwood, that's helped them a lot. But Philip Gustafson missed a little bit with injury. He's still getting back into rhythm. I think Minnesota's the right side as the home team here, getting a good plus price. I got plus 130 on them.
All right. Phenomenal. You can follow Alex on X. She's at Alex White with 2 E's on the end. And also she does that show called Sports by the Book at the South Point, which is on YouTube as well. Alex, that was great. Congrats on a great season again. Thank you and best of luck this week.
Thank you, Pauly and Mitch. Always good to talk to you guys.
You too.
There you go. She joined us on the Progressive guest line.
Makes sense on the over. Number 1 over team in hockey with Columbus. Good job.
So, globally speaking, I'm seeing like 46 on this game tonight. I don't think anything stateside has anything higher than 45.5.
Why they're doing that, but they did the same thing in the Georgia game, as Brad pointed out.
That's right.
The over.
That's right.
That's interesting.
Good breakdown from her. She is super sharp and absolutely, as you can tell, knows what she's talking about. You got some college basketball? How about hockey? Sure.
You like anything in hoops?
Props.
Just props?
I was close to unloading on a bunch of props tonight, but I showed some restraint that I have like 4.
College basketball is getting interesting. Some wild stuff happening night in, night out. I still can't get past when I'm looking at Michigan and UCLA as a conference game.
I can't wrap my head around
me
it.
off so
Tonight,
much. Oregon.
Tonight's Washington and Michigan State. How dumb.
Yeah.
How dumb is this that they're playing these midweek games all the way across the country?
Yeah.
There's no, God, I agree. I thought I kicked this around with somebody who I respect in college basketball today about adding Illinois to win the national title. They have incredible metrics right now.
It's a hell of a win against Oregon.
Oh my God, they went there and won like by 30.
Yeah.
Scored more. They beat Penn State by 50. I get it. It's Penn State basketball. But I was talked off of it.
Why?
Because the ceiling, this person told me, was maybe Final Four. Maybe. And it would depend on the absolute draw. They cannot see this team winning the national title. They like them, but they're far from being like in love with them. They're good. You go to Ken Palm and look at all these numbers. Illinois hits like every like historical metric that you're looking for right now. So, but I didn't do it. I also, if you wait too long, like these numbers, that 32-1 in Illinois, if you like them, that might be 15 soon. Did I say this on the air? Or was it to you? I can't remember. I was looking at Florida like in November, they're blasting teams. And remember, Florida's offense was elite last year, and they played Colorado in the first round. It was 100 points apiece, I think. They lost the game down to the wire. And I'm watching them just destroy everybody in their path. I'm looking at 40 or above on them. I'm like, nah, I probably missed like 60, so I'm not going to take 40. And then they just kept playing really, really well, got down to 20, and then they had that great game against Kentucky, and they killed Tennessee. Oh, that's like 12 or 15-1 now. So those numbers, bye-bye. But the two teams at the very top of Ken Palm's ratings anyway, Duke and Auburn, are just, they might be super special, and they're at the very end.
Iowa State's a real deal too.
Yeah, they're good.
It's also going to be nuts to see come March the bracket. What you're going to you're going to have 13 SEC teams in the tournament.
So that means you're going to have multiple. They'll be playing in the second round then.
Yes,
you're going to have to be if they win those games.
Imagine what the conference tournament will look like.
Oh.
All these ranked teams and how good they are.
It'll be phenomenal. We'll get to our best bets for today. In Pocket plays next on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
To determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I'll bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3-1 odds. Nope. 5-1. Nope. 10-1. You're out.
You come heavy, you don't come at all. I don't want any grab ass tonight either. I want this to kick at 437. Longest touchdown under 38.5 yards. Largest lead under 14.5. Riley Leonard rushing yards over 46.5. This has moved.
It's 53.5 some spots.
Yeah, big. Yeah, it was open 42.5. It's like the Love thing. So that's been bet down 20 yards. Added this as we talked about on the Brian Windhorst podcast, Hoop Collective. Brian Windhorst, Tim Bontemps, Tim McMahon. They all did the You Can't Be Serious with Cade Cunningham being the favorite for this award. So I like these guys anyways. Powell 10-1, Mobley plus 750. Penn State money line as well. Took one. They're now the favorite. And it was plus 2.5 yesterday. That's been all over the place. Also, over 3.5 made field goals plus 290. First scoring play, field goal plus 450. Can bet either team. You can find first quarter under 10, under 135. Hard to find, but I like that. Game under as well. Oh, mamma mia to have 50 in your pocket. Alex makes it 40. How about that? So a lot of good stuff here tonight. We're in action and rooting for nothing to happen. There you go.
By the way, do we think Allen and/or Singleton are going to have great games? Both guys have been phenomenal in the playoffs.
What's a great game?
Well, Allen is around 60.5. Singleton is around 62.5. Both guys going to go more than 60 yards in this game against Notre Dame's defense. Recapping last night's action, this is not a bad beat. St. Bonaventure got it down to 3 with like 10 seconds left. They fouled. St. Louis made both free throws to go back up by 5. The Bonnies turned the ball over, but they were getting blasted by 10, 12, 14 in the second half. The other one, UConn, that sucked. To lose the game like that was so atypical for UConn to lose a game like that in the final 25 seconds. Missed shot, offensive rebound, missed jumper, Villanova fouls, missed free throw, another missed free throw, turnover. Just like, what? So that was a loser. Ole Miss plus 4.5 didn't need the points outright. They got Arkansas. Good basketball team there. Ole Miss and Kansas, Arizona State. This was flying over the total at halftime. I don't think Arizona State scored for like the first 7 minutes of the second half. Kansas put the clamps down and killed them in the second half. That was a great performance. Need more of that out of the Jayhawks. 2-2 last night. Tonight, some ladders, buddy. Remember that?
Yeah.
New Year's Day resolution?
Damn right.
I'm doing it with 2 guys. I told you about Anthony Edwards. He's averaging 12 three-point attempts per game in January so far. His last 3 games, 7 of 11, 6 of 13, 10 of 15. I played over 3.5 at minus 104. I played over 4.5 at plus 220. And there's another guy tonight, Jalen Green. I mean, if you just go and look at every single box score, I try to do that every day in the NBA. Jalen Green's last 3 games from downtown, 5 of 13, 5 of 12, 7 of 15. So think about that. He's averaging more than a dozen three-pointers a game attempted last 3 games. He's taking 20, 21, 24 shots per game. He's scoring high 20s or in the 30s. If you're telling me that he's going to take 13, 14 threes, I'm going to bet over a number like 2.5 and I'll lay 60 cents. So I did that. And I also played over 3.5 at plus 160 tonight for him. And I had to do it Notre Dame, Penn State under 45.5. Although the market again, and it was up to 46 a minute ago. Now back down to 45 in some spots, 45.5.
Under no score first 5.5 minutes. You can find it as well. Like $1.40, $1.50 juice, 6.5. I saw $1.10 though as well. Getting ready for big game 59 with a big deal to match. Save $59 off the VSiN Pro annual subscription when you sign up. Promo code FTM. Become a VSiN Pro annual subscriber. Bet smarter all year long. Every best bet, every host, every guest. The betting splits from DK and Circa. All the betting guides and the dog videos. VSiN.com/subscribe. Promo code FTM. Save $59 off the VSiN Pro annual subscription today. VSiN.com/subscribe. Look ahead lines FanDuel. Ohio State would be 8.5 against Notre Dame, 9.5 against Penn State.
Well, how do they look tomorrow night? That's my question.
Okay.
Because if they blow out Texas and it's similar to their first 2 playoff games, it's not going to be below 10.
That's your big boy. And this is a rock fight tonight? Yeah.
However, if Ohio State, right, and every single bettor that we've talked to so far this week, and we had 3 really good bettors on the show today, they basically all said the number before last game would have been Ohio State 2.5, right? So if this is a close game, let's say it's 17-16, and Texas plays them right down to the gun, but they lose. then okay, you're not going to open it up 10 or higher. But if this is Ohio State from the previous 2 weeks, I'm sorry, you have to open it up at least 10. Otherwise, it'll blitz right past any other number to get to 10, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. What? Good discussion earlier. You said it. Brad Powers said it. Can they bring their A game every week and every game moving forward? Well, UConn did it 2 years in a row. 12-0 ATS and straight up in the tournament. What they've been able to do. The other thing would be war of attrition. If it's Ohio State, Penn State, that would be Penn State's 17th game of the season. Ooh, mama.
That's a lot.
Texas would be 3.5 against Penn State, 2.5 against Notre Dame. You get a bump, though, from beating Ohio State. Also depends what it looks like, too.
No doubt. And yeah, you're exactly right, because what if either team tonight wins and it's a blowout and they just look good across the board? You know, if it's 31-10 either side tonight and the box score is phenomenal, then that changes things.
Anyone find no touchdown first half?
Luke?
Anyone find that?
I don't know if you can find that or not. I looked all over.
The other thing, too,
I think they're careful with college games with that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for the tweets and emails, too, on the prop. They're factoring in Texas, Arizona State already going to overtime. That's all playoff games. So,
well, yeah, because we went crazy because
1.5, yeah.
The updated prop at DraftKings is how many games will we get to go to overtime? We just assumed it was like the next 3 games. 1.5 under was minus $6. That's a running total here with all playoff games included. And because of that Arizona State Texas game, that's already won. So do we get another overtime game? What was it? 8, like plus 450 or something like that on the over?
Yeah.
Basically.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Good. It's one of these weird games where I'm rooting for nothing to happen. I don't want to see an exciting game. I wanted to see 13-10, much like it should have been and was the first half of Georgia Notre Dame. That's what I'm expecting. I
do think that low-scoring, defensive-minded games can be super entertaining as long as we don't have a zillion penalties and 14 turnovers. Like if it's just...
let's go back to your mini rant earlier. Like, why do people have a problem? It's only the NBA. Who has ever complained about scoring and excitement and points other than this? It doesn't make any sense. But you'll sit and you'll watch a 6-3 NFL game, Chicago and Seattle.
Yeah, and want nothing to happen.
I mean,
that's what you root for, right?
Yeah. But then you got really great athletes, dunks, 3-pointers, 140 to 135. Too much scoring. What? No one has ever said that in the history of sports. Mm-hmm. No fan has complained. Everyone wants points. Everyone changes their rules for more points.
Well, people gave up on the sport probably after Jordan, and they just assume that it's garbage, and it's the exact opposite. I mean, there's so much talent in the league. It's incredible. I think too many threes are attempted per game, so it makes it a little unwatchable. But if games were more like last night, oh, God, you can't. It's a phenomenal sport. And you love it. It's again, I compared it to the Knicks Spurs game on Christmas Day. Who's going to sit down and watch that for 2.5 hours and complain? Yeah, it's impossible.
Mm-hmm. But to your point, though, this is true. You can have a classic 16-13, 17-14, something like that. And I always enjoy a 3-2, 2-1 pitcher's duel in the baseball playoffs.
Lance Mancrush on X found no touchdown first half, 11-1. That's at Bet365. I would take a slice of that.
Oh, right.
11-1 I would bet, but we don't have Bet365 here in Las Vegas.
Right? Good job.
Because I absolutely would have bet the no touchdown in the Notre Dame-Georgia game was 80-1. It's 80-1 tonight. That's at Westgate. So that tells me the first half number would be probably close to 11-1, and I would have bet 11-1 in that game, and it should have cashed.
All right. Scott coming up next, VSiN Prime Time, then cashing out Joe Cirallo and the VSiN Morning Line with Grace, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Tomorrow, loaded, stacked, 6 NFL playoff games, Texas, Ohio State, picks and props with Mike Somich, Chuck Edel back on the show, incredible run, won the Circa Invitational, Chuck Edel, Mike Somich, Arash Markazi on the devastation in L.A., and will they play the game there, and Rich Gannon, former MVP. Goody gumdrops.
Well, I thought today was a hell of a show.
Damn right.
Tomorrow's going to be outstanding. Good luck with your bets tonight, and we will talk to you then.